You're listening to Fresh Out the Game. Man, I be so fresh. Fresh Podcast Network.
בלי קשקושים.
Straight from Tel Aviv, Israel.
רק מה שמעניין.
Let's go.
Hi, my name is Hilal Leizarovich.
And I'm Ron Avon. We are two entrepreneurs from Israel, and we are on a journey to find out what makes entrepreneurs, investors, and CEOs
Succeed or fail.
And we hope to inspire your journey. So, hello everybody, and welcome to our new episode on TLV DNA show. And with us today is Tami Silberman, the VP Sales of HiBob. How are you, Tami?
I'm good. How are you?
We are great. We are very excited to host you here. Tell us about HiBob and yourself.
Okay. So I'm also very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'll say something that I'm sure we're going to talk about in a later phase on our discussion. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad you're here. This sentence has a significant meaning for us. I think it represents a lot of who we are as a company, of our culture, and also our product. It represents something in our product. So we'll keep that to a later phase in our discussions. And that's it. So about us, about how HiBob. So we're an Israeli startup company operating in the HR space. We've built a global people management platform that's in the very basics of it. It takes care of the HR admin part of, the data of the employees, which is, by the way, what most of the other platforms out there are doing. But in fact, it ignites culture and it inspires growth. And you know that once you inspire growth and once you grow your people, you grow your business. And it helps company to attract the right people for their company and to engage them and to retain them and et cetera, et cetera. So, and how we do it? By collecting different types of data and by analyze it in different ways, and then be able to take data-driven decisions that eventually affect the business. And by the way, we do it all in a very, very beautiful way. It's a beautiful platform with a great, innovative, modern UI and UX. And that's it. So I think if we remember at the beginning of the introduction about HiBob, when I said that the very basics of it takes care of the admin part of the HR. So you now should be able to understand that it has a lot more pillars. And we actually, enable companies, or in our vision, we want to make sure that companies, CEOs, founders, managers, leaders, they create a much better work space for their employees. And there is that sentence, that employees are the most important assets of the companies. So we want to, we as people, as managers, as founders, as HR leaders, we should make sure that this is actually happens and it's not just a slogan. And we, as HiBob, as a company, we provide a tool for that.
Okay, let's go to the early stage of HiBob. Tell us about the initial idea and how you found your value proposition. What did you do?
So this was actually the vision from the beginning. So there wasn't a problem with the vision or with the understanding of what we want to do or where we want to be. We had challenges of how to do it. Mm-hmm. So, aside
elaborate.
So aside of the usual, challenges that every startup has, like, penetrating the market and market education and all that stuff, we actually had to think how we, because the HR, they have the HR space, it has so many bullets, so many areas of things that they take care of. It's the performance, and it's the data of the employee, and it's time and attendance, and it's time off, and it's learning, and it's benefits. So it's so vast. So we had to. So at the beginning, we could present a prototype or a beginning of a platform that was very, very beautiful, as it is now, but it was missing a lot of functionality. So then we had the challenge of how do we prioritize? What do you put in? What do we leave outside? When do we do what? And if we're deciding not to put some kind of functionality in the platform, do we integrate with it so it's going to be yet a complete, a whole solution to the client, and it's going to be seamless for the client? So how do we integrate? And so many things and so many challenges that we had to deal with.
So addressing your answer, so when do you integrate and how you make these decisions?
So we integrate to many platforms. Some of our integration are built in. For example, we have integration to ATS, applicant tracking systems, platforms that their whole goal is to attract and to recruit talents. So these type of integrations are seamless. So once the employee becomes an employee rather than a candidate, then automatically they have an employee card is being opened within the platform, within Bob, and the entire life cycle is being managed within the platform by us, by Bob. So this is an example for an integrated, seamless integrations. But we have other ways of integrations. For example, for payroll platforms. So we extract data from Bob, which is, by the way, supposed to be the single point of truth. Export the data from Bob and import it to other platforms. And we do have an open API. So other platforms, any type of platform that are, if customers wants to do their own integration to other platforms, if there are also cloud-based platforms, that it shouldn't be a big deal. We have very nice integrations with collaboration tools, with Slack and with Microsoft MS Teams. So because the idea behind it is that we want to find the employees wherever they are. So
and it enriches the data,
Slack
of course.
Or an MS Team, sorry?
It enriches the data you get.
Yes.
So you had an idea, and the idea was creating a holistic platform, and then you decided that instead of going and creating a huge or a very long product roadmap, you will integrate at certain points and make, let's call it a shortcut.
No, it's not about shortcut. And our roadmap is really, really a long list still. And the product, actually, the platform is very, very rich. So we do consider our Bob as a all-in-one platform, but not everything can be put on one platform. Some things are very like ATS, like the recruiting platforms, are big chunks. So I don't think we're ever gonna, put that inside of our platforms.
As a sales leader, I'm hearing you, and the HR space in general has 2 points. One is the people, and the other are companies. So who is your actual consumer or customer?
It's the employees. Our target audience, in the very formal way, or the buyers are the HR leaders. But we actually consider the entire company, the entire employees as our clients, because they're the HR's clients, the employees. So, and it's all about people, eventually. And I even had a conversation the other day with one of the senior executives in a very successful other Israeli company. And she said, she's the COO of that company. And she said that when she joined her company, and she was doing the onboarding with Bob, she thought it's the perfect platform for her as a COO. She did not even, think about it as a platform for HR because it has so many pillars, and it comes to give a solution to the employees. Then each type of employee finds their own needs and solutions in this platform. So that's about it. So basically, we look at the employees and the tools that we give to HR leaders, to CEOs, to managers, and to the employees.
And working with organization, so in the beginning of the way, you must have like the first one who's believing in you and want you to go with him. So did you have a design partner? What was the HiBob journey?
Yeah. So that's an interesting question. When I joined Bob, actually, it was 4.5 years ago, and we celebrated 5 just a few weeks ago. We were looking for clients for beta, and we actually built this whole platform with design partners and with a group of different types of HRs, different seniorities, different industries, because we didn't want it to be a one person or a one HR, vision or approach. So we took different types of HRs and from different industries, different generations, if you will, and we really picked their brain on a very often basis.
So how does it work? You're talking about a wide spectrum of companies and positions in companies.
Yes.
Because you wanted to pick brains of everybody. Oh, how do you do that? You just call them. You have meetings. Tell us a bit about this journey, to get clients on board for this pilot or POC or beta.
Yeah, so it was exactly as you said. We called them. We presented ourselves.
You started in Israel.
I started in Israel, and in parallel, we started the business in London, actually, in the UK. But we called them. We tried to, we presented ourselves. We said that we're a startup company. We reached out at the beginning to the HRs, not to other personas in the organizations, because they were and still are the buying persona. So, and we had to build the platform that will serve their needs, who they serve, and they serve the other personas in the organization, but they were the target audience at the beginning and still are. So we reached out to them and we presented ourselves, and we said that we're building this unique and very innovative platform, and that we want to pick up their brain. And this is what we did, a lot. And it was very interesting and very frustrating. And I think we, when we look back, I think we can say, not in a good or bad way, but I think we went out to the market in a very early stage, because at the beginning, and I'm sharing some secrets now maybe, it was beautiful. Guys. It was beautiful. It really is a very beautiful platform even now. But, there was not much in it. So it was missing a lot of functionality, as I said before. But we did, make the efforts to find those few companies, those few HR leaders that will, count on us and understand and believe in our vision and, agree to go ahead with us. Which wasn't easy also, because you have to, in order to use the platform, you have to upload all your employee data, very sensitive data. Yeah. So it's not obvious, but we managed. So we found those 2-3 at the beginning that managed, that agreed to go ahead with us, and then another one, and then another one, and then we and in parallel we added more features. And
so you're talking about 2 or 3 that went on with you, and you said before it could be frustrated at the beginning. So
definitely
tell us a bit about that as well. It's challenging. You find 2 or 3, but where did you find them? Within 100?
So yes, it is frustrating, because you talk to 5, 6, 7 persons a day, and a day sometimes, and you may have days that no one will say yes to you. So it is frustrating.
And you also have competition and you need to differentiate yourself. So how do you do it? What point of HiBob you...
So I think that the competition issue is just maybe, become relevant in the last a year and a half, maybe 2 years. But at the first 2 years, it wasn't about a competition. It was us. It was about us. It's about, being getting the credit, the initial credit of believing in us and, go ahead with us, to upload the sensitive data of the employee, to sign an agreement with us, and to give us the air that we needed in order to build ourselves and to grow our customer base.
Did you had any help from the Israeli ecosystem?
Any help? Yeah, definitely. So our main investor at the beginning was Bessemer. They still are our investors. We all, the founders and myself and the other people that were in the company, we really used our, networking and connections. And obviously we reach out first to the people that we know and ask them to introduce us to the people they know, and you know how it works. We definitely got help from the ecosystem.
So I want to focus again on what Elad said about differentiating yourself. So you call those people, you call the HR managers, and how do you sharpen your value proposition? What do you actually say that on the phone that actually creates a highlight, and then they say, you know what, I'll consider that, or let's meet?
So it's also a good question, because it wasn't so obvious at the beginning. I remember going to meetings, come back home to the office, take the CTO, who's also a co-founder, take the product CPO, Chief Product, which was also a co-founder, and tell them and ask them, what do we sell? So it was also it's also part of the journey, to differentiate, to understand what we do. It's one thing to have, one thing in your mind, in your vision, and then to be able to translate it, to write it, to speak about it. It's not simple, but more calls, more talks, more discussions. And more people, as we grew, and we added more professional people from marketing, from, content, and more product people. So it took time, but eventually we managed to make it more accurate, and we still on it. We're still trying to make it more accurate on both sides, on the messaging, on the marketing side, let's say, and on the product side.
Correct me if I'm wrong. At the beginning, it was only Bob, and then you added the HiBob, right? Because you wanted to create like a voice and tone that will be more recognized with you.
So yes and no. The second part of what you said is true. The first one is actually also true. So Bob was actually the code name or something like that at the beginning, when there was nothing, just an idea, and the very beginning of writing the first few code lines, and then because we are a people-oriented platform, the fact that that code name is a person's name was really suitable. So we decided to keep it.
You created a storytelling around it.
And we created, and it helped us build the story behind it. I mean, it was one thing fed the other thing. The vision and the idea was about people, and then the code name was a person's. It could have been any other kind of a code name. It could have been from different worlds, but it was a person's name. And a very common name, right, also.
Bob.
So, yeah.
Bob.
And then we added the domain of bob.com was too expensive, so we added the HiBob, which is also, just perfectly matched, because it's hi. It's hi Bob, it's hi David, it's hi Tami, it's hi Sharon, it's hi, Shmuel.
Yeah. So the brand name is actually Bob, right? And then you're referring to it as in HiBob to make it more personalized. Yeah.
Yeah. The company's name is HiBob, and the platform's name is Bob.
It's Bob. Gotcha. All right. So having, let's call them so-called design partners, having, testing your beta version with them. When is that, twist? When is that point, this key point where you actually start to sell the platform?
So I'll separate the answer to two. Because one, we still have design partners. So recently we just released a very new and very cool module, compensation module. So we still had design partners for that. But to the second thing that you asked about when did we start really selling, I think it was 3 years ago. So the first year was not so about selling. The second year we began to, and the third year and until now we're growing on a 3-digit number growth in the past 3 years. So that's a great achievement.
It is.
Tell us about your company adjusting to the scale, because you begin very small and very agile, and there's the moment you understand that you need to scale up and be more support and customer success. So how did it influence your organization inside?
Mm-hmm. So we actually, I think, finishing 1 year of that shift, more or less. We had the entire management, actually almost the entire management replaced. And we have more professional, we looked for people that have the right experience because it may be a different experience from going to, 50 employees to 150 employees, and then the other jump from 150 employees to 300 employees. You may want different experience, people with different experience. So we were very picky about, finding those specific personas that can bring us or bring with us to the next level. And I think that in the past year, we're already, we can say that there's, a good team that is stable and that is good and working good together. And we're very looking forward to scale next year as well and to continue that momentum of growth.
So, as a sales leader in HiBob, I'm sure sales, always come with the word frustrating and, it's a very hard work. Try to bring us some insights from your point of view. How you go back home after so many, people said no, and then you want to create another yes.
So, as a sales leader, what I'm trying to mentor my team and the other teams as well is to make first for them to really understand the value of what we are selling, of what we're offering to the clients, and value can come in so many ways. So everyone can, pick their own value. It doesn't have to be something that, sales decided or marketing decided on. It's something that you feel that you can relate, because there are so many values. And once salespeople feel that they relate to the values of what they're offering to the clients, and they feel that they are actually doing them a favor and, giving them a solution that will improve their lives and will improve their businesses and etc., then it doesn't matter. Once you have it in your mind, then you can go out and you can speak about it and you can tell about it, whatever you have to tell, and it's much easier.
Okay, do you remember the moment that you felt that you have a strong selling flow, and what did you feel about the value that you're offering?
So I don't know if it's about the specific moment or specific sale, but it wasn't always there. The thing that I said before, about the fact that employees are the most important assets of the company, and that this shouldn't be just a slogan, and we need to actually act that as leaders, and we provide the tools. So this wasn't always the understanding. It wasn't my understanding, and I don't think it was the company's understanding as well. So when I realized that we're offering a tool to do all that, some of it, has actual solutions or features in the product, and some of it are still in our vision, and we're still working on it and thinking about it. But when I realized that, I think that was the main value as I saw it.
And did sales actually boost from there?
Did sales actually
boost from there?
I think so, yeah. So, there was that time that there was a gap between what you say and that vision and that approach and what you actually offer in the platform. But we're closing that gap, and we still have a road to go. But I think it really helped boosting the sales.
I'd like to address that gap. In matters of optimization, when we go into COVID or a new normal of HR space, right, at the moment, I think it's a new normal, even on post-COVID as well.
Definitely.
But, sales could go on and run and sell and sell and sell. But at the end of the day, there's engines behind, technology-wise, product-wise, user experience. How is that optimization going on at the moment?
In HiBob?
Yeah.
So with relates to COVID?
Yeah.
So COVID was shocking to everyone. So it was shocking to the world. It was shocking to Israel. It was shocking to the companies. It was shocking to persons, to family people, to everyone, on different layers. But as a company and as leaders of this company, HiBob, I think what made us, go through that crazy period and actually succeed very, very well in it is our, I think, culture, our approach of doing what we have to do, keep the focus, do the right adjustments, and the adjustments are in different ways. It was in the commercials offering that we offered to our existing clients with adjustments. Although we have signed agreements with them for years, we made adjustments if needed, adjustments to our potential clients in the commercial offers. We really wanted to give away the platform. So it's not easy as it sounds, but we were, very, I think, empathetic.
And you also reacted fast.
To our audience and to our employees. And I must say that COVID really changed, the world of work, and really empowered or gave a different new space to the HR leaders. Obviously, we were there with our tool. And the adjustments are also in the product itself, because we looked at our clients and we looked at what they're using most now, as opposed to, different pre-COVID. Yeah. And we made the adjustments. So if they're using very much specific reports, we elaborated and added more features to those specific reports. Or we added a feature of a status of working from office. Before COVID, working from office was not a status. It was the thing that we do. Yeah. We go to the office every morning, but now we put on our platform a status of working from office. So we made a lot of adjustments.
So the product changes, feature priority changes, and then marketing changes the message. How does it affect sales?
It boosts sales.
It boosts sales.
It boosts sales because of, the things that you said, the product changes and prioritization, the marketing, the messages, and the reality of HR and the need in the platform. I mean, we mainly target global companies. And, we want global companies to be able to feel as one company and to, bridge the distance, the geographical distances between sites and make the employees feel connected to one each other. So, and this is true and valid regardless to COVID. But imagine that there's no one at the offices, not in the headquarters, not in the sites, no one. So how do we do that? I mean, it's a challenge without COVID when you have a global company to make them all feel united. But how do you do that with COVID when no one is in the office? So it's a challenge. But this challenge has to have a solution, and we were there. So that's why I think it boosts the sales. I mean, you have to be much more in control. How do you talk to your people? How do you keep the culture? How do you keep the people engaged? Everybody's, some of them with their kids at home, some of them with their roommates at home. So how do you keep the routine? How do you keep the motivation?
So you made the COVID challenge an opportunity.
Like seizing the moment.
Seizing the moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this opportunity, as you said, brings more sales. What does that mean? You expand, you bring more salespersons. How does it work?
Exactly what you said. We grew a lot. We had a very good year in terms of revenue. And we are growing. We grew and we are growing. I mean, 2021 is supposed to be a really significant in terms of, recruiting more and more people. And so, yeah.
Let's zoom in there. Just saying we grew is nice, but then you bring new people.
Sure.
Not from the culture, and you want to bring them inside the culture. And then, they need to qualify. They need to learn the product. They need how's this whole process? How do you accelerate this process as well?
Mm-hmm. So we use our platform. We use Bob.
You use Bob.
We use Bob. We use Bob for onboarding and for culture and for everything that we offer to our clients. We use ourselves. And remember the sentence that I said at the beginning. Glad you're here. This become our sentence. The thing that we say. First of all, it's there's a big sign in our kitchen, glad you're here. And when you log into the platform, the first few seconds until it's upload, there's a sentence, glad you're here. And this become our sentence, the thing that we say to each other, and no one asked it, no one, planned this, but it become our sentence. So someone have a birthday, so we said, hi, happy birthday, John, glad you're here. Someone got promoted, hi, congratulations, Sharon, well deserved, I'm glad you're here. This become our thing. So obviously, every single new employee that joins the company, he joined through Bob. And one of the things that we have through our onboarding process in Bob is some kind of organizational portal. So he see his colleagues really with faces, with pictures.
Images, yeah.
Yeah. And he sees on the platform how the organization look like in terms of hobbies, fields of interest, because we have that section in the platform. So you can see that there are a lot of people, for example, that like yoga or whatever. So it really, and we have a feature that calls shout out when we announce things. So it can be like formal announcements about work, like the funding that we just had a raise a few weeks ago, or it can be something much more social wise, like congratulations for someone about something. So once you go into that wall of messages, you get the feel of what happened in the last few weeks, months in the company. You see how people react, because people can react to those shout-outs with emojis and with comments. So you get the culture, and you feel like you're a month in the company already because of this tool. So
it helps you to accelerate the onboarding
So
process.
it really helps to accelerate the onboarding process, both on the admin side of it and on the personal experience of the new recruiters.
So you responded to the COVID situation in a very agile way. Is this one of your core values in the company?
I think so. Yes. Yeah. We're agile. We're listeners. On all levels. I think it's also part of our DNA. To be transparent, to listen to the employees. Every level counts. We really encourage to hear the employees, their thoughts, their opinions, and we take it into consideration. So yes, good listeners, because we care about what people say, because we are all of us are the people that are the company and are leading and growing the business. So good listeners and accordingly do whatever the right adjustments and whatever you have to do. Yeah, I think it's an important character of an organization to be able to listen and to be able to make the right changes, as opposed to one-man show that has all the answers, know all the things that or at least think that. It's an approach, but I don't agree with that. I don't relate to that approach, and it's definitely the opposite of who we are.
I want to take. I want to bring another question when I take you to your, I suppose, best friend, which is the marketing side of HiBob. Now you address two main personas, which are the HRs, and then let's call them a very generic persona as Eli's going to kill me. As the people, okay, the employees, okay.
HR, C-levels, managers, employees, all of them.
Yes. So, and a lot of people can create their ventures and sometimes have trouble on focusing who is the real customer, or that's why I brought up the marketing. Who is the message for? Are we bringing it bottom up from the people? Are we actually putting it top down from the companies?
It's a great question, and we actually have a lot of discussions about that. So we started with the messaging to the HR teams, but we, as sales, for example, because we know about the vision and we know that this is, and it also came from marketing, that the vision and is not only for HR, but the entire company and the leaders and the managers, etc. So we actually, keep asking for creating new messages for other personas, for CFO, which is a different message from in HR. For CEO, it's also a different. So there and to the employees themselves. So we do think that we should have different types of messages for different types of personas.
Do you have an example?
An example, yeah. For example, HR. So they will relate, and I'm just giving this as an example, okay? It's not, so HR, and the short example. So HR is the admin part to make their life easier, okay? And CFO is the numbers part of data. So salaries, bonuses, raises, and all that stuff, which is a different type of data. CEO, the employees, culture. I mean, and HR, of course, obviously, but as a CEO, you want the culture that you want for your company. So every kind of persona has their own, or should get their own messages. So this is something that we, still thinking of. We do know the different messages that we should have for different personas, but it's not necessarily, really completely cooked, and it's a working process. So always room to improve.
And how did you locate it, like the decision maker in each organization? Because sometimes it's different roles.
Yes, it's very true. It depends, I think, on the type of the organization, the size of the organization, the position that the HR has in their organization. Sometimes the HR is very, very strong, and it's the only one who take the decision. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a group of persons. Sometimes it's the CFO. Sometimes it's the CEO. Sometimes it's the IT very involved in the process. Sometimes the HR only say this is the need, and then the IT or information system, they go out and do the research about platforms, and they go back to HR and present all the options to them. So it's really, really different from different companies. So that's also something that we really need to, be focused on as sales, to identify as early as possible as we can who is our buyer persona in that specific organization. Is it only the HR? Is it the HR plus this and this? And we need to make sure that we, gather those influencers to the sales process.
Do you have an advice for entrepreneurs that listen to us, how to map those personas and customers?
This is a great question. Like your identification process. How do you identify?
Yeah. So the common question, the common answer would be talking.
Yeah.
Asking, which is something that sales should do. Ask questions, do qualification, be a very good listener. And very focused and very alert. And if you ask something and they give you the answer, okay, but what about this? Okay, but what about... So the qualification has to be very, very deep. And you have to be able to map. It's actually, the mapping is not only the decision makers. A lot of requirements have to be mapped. So, for example, you need to know their timelines. How or when do they plan to to implement a platform? You have to know what are their pains. You have to know who else should be involved in the process, not necessarily as a decision maker, but as an influencer. For example, security people. Yes, no, do this organization care about security or not? So all those things, as qualified as you have, as much as you have the deeper qualification, you can, know how to approach this opportunity and how to prioritize it, versus your other opportunities that you manage as a salesperson.
So let's even go deeper on this point, because I think the insights and values for our audience could be significant. So you actually take this call and then you get inputs and you understand more and more and more, or as an investigation, you actually investigate, or do you perform a pre-examination or
survey?
Or you take a company and then you look into it and then you just approach. Tell us about those methods.
So at the beginning, and this is something that I think that every entrepreneur that is starting their business should relate to. At the beginning, we at HiBob, the salespeople did everything. The qualification, the sales, everything. And now we have different, as we grew, we have different departments and different functions to do different things. So we have SDRs that are people that receive inbound calls, which is, a good thing that we have inbound leads. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is not obvious at all. It wasn't the case a few years ago. And we have BDRs that are, doing outreach, cold outreach to clients. and then they do the initial qualification and bring the qualified lead to the salesperson. So, and this is the evolution that we had as a company, and I guess every company has.
So those departments, do they research a company before they approach?
Yeah, so our guide to those SDR BDRs and also to the salespersons, who also, by the way, have to, at least in our company, have to bring their own new leads. The guide is to make a research as much as you can before you reach out to the client, because then you can make the approach personal and more relevant to them. So, for example, if you see that they have raised money recently, then you can relate to that. And it depends also to who you reach out. Sometimes we even, a real example at Bob that relates to the other conversations we had about personas. So sometimes I would decide to reach out if I target a specific company that I know that it's exactly in my profile, and this is a company that I want to have in my client base, and I decide to reach out to the CEO. Why? Because I see that he's very active on LinkedIn, for example, and he's active on LinkedIn. He's talking about culture, and he's talking about empowering his employees. So I'm reaching out to him through that message of culture and empowering employees, and etc. So it really depends, but the common thing for every approach is to have as much as knowledge as you can in advance, so you can make the approach smarter and more personal and more relevant.
And how do you measure it? Do you have specific key metrics for the selling flow and the marketing flow?
Yes, definitely. We have different metrics of, it goes top down. So we know the target that we want to reach for this quarter, this year, whatever. And then we know how many meetings we need to, how many closed won deals we need to have, how many meetings we need to have, how many calls we need to have, and we have different metrics for everything, and everything is very, very measurable. Yeah.
And when you hit a wall that you didn't succeed to hit a target, what do you do, and how do you adjust it?
So in the past 2 years, I'm happy to say, maybe even 3 years, I'm happy to say that this wasn't the case. Before that, it was a struggle. Yeah, it was hard, and you have a personal experience to share. Sorry. Yeah.
A personal experience to share from the beginning?
Yeah, the beginning was hard. As I said before, there were, you meet 5, 6, 7 clients or potential companies a day, and most of them say no. And it's still the case today. But today, you know that it's a game of numbers. So statistically, if you reach out to, I don't know, just throwing out numbers to the air, you reach out to 100 employees, so our conversion is, I don't know, let's say just for the sake of the, conversation, 50% conversion. So I know out of 100, I'll hit 50. I know my environment, I know my reality. At the beginning, you have no past, you have no way to predict. You're just like, it's like almost full gas in neutral, you don't know. So it's much, much harder. But the key is, to be very consistent, not to give up, to believe, to find the value, to work hard.
So experimenting in the environment of sales gives you an actual environment where you can say, okay, I called 100, I got this conversion rate, and all of a sudden, from experimenting, you get a sales flow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. It's something that first we had to bring the sales. Then we had to have enough opportunities that we won in order to analyze it backwards. What's worked for us? What didn't work for us? And then, based on that, we created the future assumptions or the target, the KPIs, whatever.
Can you tell us a bit about this background of the environment you created in the company between, the relationship between you and the C-level and the free space they give you and the inputs you provide back? Can you elaborate about this environment at HiBob?
Mm-hmm. So I think the key word is transparency and being very honest and very, the connection between the field and the people that don't go out to the field or don't meet the
what we
the
call
market.
the sales floor.
Yeah, exactly. So it has to be very, very smooth. The information that goes back and forth from the field to the sales or to the management has to be very clear, very established. It has to be based on real assumptions. So real assumption has to be taken based on, meeting and talking to a lot of people and a lot of companies and different types of people or companies in order for those assumptions to be valid. And because you can't, this one told me that and that one told me this, and, it has to be, there has to be a correlation in the message that you bring from the market, to back home. And once you have that, then you are being listened to. And you can really, consider this as something that you want to take into consideration. But, there are many, many feedbacks. So it doesn't solve the problem of prioritizing. And, this is and the product, by the way, are doing the same because they're also reading and talking to other people and reading about trends and, see what exists out there currently, think of how we want to be unique and innovative. So they're the one to do the balance between the current target audience that we have and that we're trying to win to the vision of the company and to decide eventually what we put in the product.
What about inside pressure to increase sales? How will it work?
So, I wouldn't call it pressure. I will call it, and I think that this, if you want to use the word pressure, I think it relates to all departments because, this is, the way I see it. If you want to win, if you want to sell, you have to have a good product, you have to have good people, everything has to work. You have to connect all the dots. It's not just, good sales people or good product or, it has to be a combination of everything.
And win.
Yeah, exactly. So, but each one of each department and each, personas have their own responsibilities. So product have their pressure to, to have the best product in the world and innovative and, all that stuff. And we have the pressure of bringing the sales. But, everyone has their own, and R&D has the pressure of doing a product that will work good, and on time. So everyone has their pressure. And Cell has their own, but and I think it also reflects our culture and the way we work as a company, that it's everybody's responsibility. So this is my approach.
First of all, I agree because it's about collaboration. I want to ask what happened when your collaboration become global and not only in the same place. You started in Israel, now you said that you are in different places in the US. So how do you create this collaboration abroad?
Yeah, so outside of Israel, we have a sales team, a little bit of we have also marketing and customer success, obviously, because we have clients outside of Israel. We're doing all kinds of activities in order to, connect between our sites in UK, in the US. We have 2 locations in the US, and we also have a location now in the Nordics. Ronnie, our CEO, is doing all hands, I think every month actually. So everybody's go online, and he speaks, he gives other people to speak. Remember when I talked about, transparency, sharing information, asking, encouraging people to speak out. So this is one of the opportunities when we do it. And we do it also on a more small scale with the sales team, for example, or the marketing team. So we're doing global sales team every quarter. We're doing sales, we call it sales enablement sessions. We did recently some kind of play roles to, how we, like a session of how we sell our new compensation module very well. So we did like play roles of salespeople from different sites. So some of them were the clients, and some of them were the salespeople from HiBob, and we did that whole session together, and it was a great success. People really enjoyed it. At the beginning, people are a little bit hesitating, and it's a little bit embarrassing, but it went very well, and people really liked the opportunity. And once you go through the initial barrier of doing this, then it's actually fun, and people got to know each other better, and to get feedback from each other. So it was really cool, and I think that it's also very good in general to share information, to discuss about case studies, take a specific deal and analyze it. How did it work? What was this? Tell us a little bit about the sales cycle. What worked for you? What were the challenges? And to share between the countries, between the sites. Sorry. So that's also another good example.
What do you think really differentiate the way you do things, and what really makes that TLV DNA, that Startup Nation DNA, in your journey?
Mm-hmm. So I can speak for myself and from the people around me, Mm-hmm. I think there are few, common factors to all of us. I think it's passion. I think it's transparency. I think it's, the can-do approach. There's no, not because it's, we're, going to hit our heads in the wall, but because there are different ways to achieve something, and you must find some way. You will find some way. And it's the resilience, and it's the, strong belief that it's doable. Things are doable. And it's the, being down to earth. So, for example, at the early beginning of, what I told you was when we were just, a small team, if I needed anything from the CEO, from the CTO, just like that, I just come, I open the door, I tell them, I need this and that. Okay, no problem. We jump into we take a taxi, we go to meet that it's not a client, but that person. So everything is, we work with cooperation and for a joint goal that we all really, really want to achieve. And I think that's what drives us, with no ego, I think also. So I think those are the main things.
Can you try to give like a golden suggestion to our audience from your experience in this journey?
A golden suggestion. Suggestion for what? For if you already an entrepreneur and you're, just in the first steps?
Yeah.
So I think, it's more or less the things that I've talked about already. Don't give up. Believe in what you do. Be very, focused. But on the other hand, listen and, be able to look around, to know, to evaluate what's working, what's not working. Don't be shy or too, arrogant maybe to change things along the way. And, find the right people to work with you, because people are the company. And go for it. It's a journey. It's a fun journey.
Okay, so let's wrap it up. Thank you, Tami. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. It was very interesting and fun. And I'll take the opportunity to invite whoever is interested to reach out and to hear more about HiBob, about our journey, about the Tel Aviv and Israel Startup Nation. So thank you.
So thanks, Hila, again.
Thank you, On. And thank you, Tami, again.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to our audience out there that are listening to our podcast and this special episode with Tami from HiBob. And you can always listen to more episodes and this one as well on all major platforms from Apple, Google, Spotify, and you can also watch this episode on YouTube. So thank you very much to all our audience all around the world.